This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome everyone to the June meeting of the Community Preservation Act Committee. Before we start, I just want the committee members to introduce themselves and how they ended up on this committee. I'm Scott Kavanaugh, I'm the chair of the committee, and I'm the mayor's appointee.
I'm Dan Riss, I'm a city council appointee, and I think.
I'm John Brunner. I'm here representing the Historic Commission.
Kira Henninger, and I'm here representing the Parks and Rec Commission.
Tom Beek. I'm here representing the City Council.
Mary Church, representing the Housing Authority.
Jay Ryan, Conservation Commission.
And I'm Ava Gerstel. I'm the CPA coordinator, the staffer for this commission.
We're sure glad you are.
That's right.
All right, a few administrative things to get through. First, approval of minutes. We have 2 months of minutes to approve. They're in the drive. Hopefully people had a chance to check them out. Does anybody have any motions?
Well, we approved the, I'll do them one at a time, April 17th meeting. Yes.
Second.
All right, got that. All in favor of approving the April 17th minutes? Aye. Any abstentions or abstain?
We have nobody online.
Nope.
Excellent.
I know we approved May 12th.
May 15th. Says May
May
12th.
12th.
What can it make?
I think
Well,
it was the third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to change the minutes to this. Says
We got to approve the,
Could we pause for a second and see if I was trying to decipher people's handwriting and spelling. If anyone sees their name incorrect on the board, we can change that for the record.
who was here.
oh yeah, because there's a lot of the public folks. Your name might be up there incorrectly.
But there was only 5 of us.
Yes.
So that's correct.
The second line, there's a Jeff Burke and there's an E at the end of that, Burke.
Thank you.
Nancy, Bob and Nancy McDonald, it's NANCE.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you.
I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of May 15th.
Oh, last meeting. Okay, never mind.
Second.
Never mind.
Excellent. All right. Now that we have that, I'll take care of good call with the names. All in favor of approving the minutes from May 15th? Aye. Abstentions? Okay, so luckily everybody's here. Although you can vote, you can approve them without being here.
That's correct.
You can, actually. But
Yes,
you don't have, but luckily we had 5. And we only had 5 people at that meeting, they're all here. If they weren't, I'd be really pushing that. All right, public speak. This is the opportunity to address the committee about anything that is not on the agenda. So if you were here for the Parks Historic designation, the spray park, or the skate park, don't speak now, but it's about anything else. All right. City officials, have anything?
Yeah, no, we'll do it under open.
Okay.
Space, open project updates.
Oh,
Just that.
right here, next to
Yeah.
yes. Okay, great. Account balances and open project updates.
Okay, so we'll start with the open project updates. And we'll look at our overall Excel sheet and then we'll take a closer look at 2 projects. Not a ton has changed since the last time. I don't have more updated information from the auditor. So I don't have the reconciled numbers from our most recent account updates. But Valley CDC and Lathrop are now on here. Were they on here last time? They've fully
think
gone
they
through
were.
council. Okay, great. And we have the grant contract signed with Valley CDC. And so they can begin their project whenever they're ready. We're still waiting on the grant contract on the Lathrop side for years 2 and 3.
Questions?
Great. Okay. Next, we'll talk about 385 Main Street affordable housing. So if we recall from their Their project expired, their project funding agreement expired at the end of December. And so we are trying to get better at having formal extensions when,
Make this a little bigger. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Sarah.
And just to clarify, is this the,
this
this
is,
is the Kestrel joint one?
yep, this is the Kestrel and the Community Builders collaborative project. Come on in.
CPA.
Yeah, come on.
And so this was a collaborative project, but this entire allocation of 600,000 was to the community builders for the affordable housing component of this. It was presented as a joint project, but all of the funds were designated for affordable housing.
And why did it expire?
Because they believed they were going to be moving on a different timeline. The 600,000, I believe, were set aside for the purchase of the property. And the purchase has taken longer than expected.
Got it, but still on track to happen from the information you have.
As far as I know, yes. And
This is
so-
just for information purposes. We don't have to vote on it.
Did we vote last time we gave a project an extension? I think we did.
I think we voted for extensions, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
checked in with the community builders and they requested a 1-year extension, which is why I drafted this as a 1-year
Oh,
extension
I got it.
to
Okay.
June 12th, 2026.
I mean, I love this project. I hope it happens. I was really.
I move that we extend the project to June 12th, 2026.
Second.
Great. All in favor of that extension?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstains? No, extensions. I said extension of extensions. They're really similar. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, great. And the other one we have an update on is from John, who I believe is on the call regarding Mount Tom North. He sent over another quick memo, but I imagine he may be willing to speak to it as well. John, are you there and able to come on camera?
Sure am. My camera. There we go. Hey, how are you?
Well-
Yes, so I sent over this memo with the spring rains that we've had. We've identified some construction and design issues. And I sent Ava a picture from my staff that will need to be addressed for this project. So we're hoping after pool season and everything else in the park slows down that we can get back up to the Mount Tom trailhead and identify, there's the picture of the washouts. One of the drainage was designed in reverse and it's actually ineffective and it's causing continual issues.
Can we fix the drain, John, or?
That's the plan with the remaining balance is to address this issue. I've had some people look at it. And so that's why we're looking to extend the funds for a little bit longer to be able to get the folks in there to fix this permanently.
Great.
And just for the committee, there's 24,344 remaining in this account.
Right. And
I
while
thought it was 6,000.
That's the non-encumbered. Have you paid? My books might be delayed if.
I'll just double check on
Okay.
that.
and I think it's worth noting that while the CPA it typically can't be used for maintenance, I think this certainly qualifies as part of the original project, like getting it right in the way that it was intended to be right originally. Right, John? So
That's correct. Yes.
yeah, so I think this would certainly be still the original use of it. So, all right, I don't think we need to vote anything on that, but anybody else have any questions for John about this?
No, good.
Does the committee want to formally extend the project funding agreement so that we
Oh,
have it on the?
yeah, because we didn't do that part.
I don't
well, we-
believe we have extended this project.
Well,
funding
we probably
agreement.
should since we just did for the other one.
Great.
Do you have a date proposed?
That might be a John question.
John, do you have a date proposed that you'd want this extended to?
If you ask me right now, I'd say 10 years with how busy we are. No, if we can get, I would anticipate being able to handle this by the fall. So I would say 6 months is fine.
You want to go till like mid next summer, a year, so that you, just in case you have anything in the spring and then.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that would work.
I think just in case, then it
you.
won't drag on forever, but it gives adequate time.
Make the motion to extend the funding deadline for a year.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Great. All right, John, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you,
Also-
John.
Did you want to do account balances?
Yeah, let's do account balances. Okay, so here we have our account balance worksheet. It's now blue. Committee.
That's for you. You didn't even, move.
I didn't want red. It wasn't supposed to be red.
I'm a little disappointed.
Greg is in
isn't
here, I know, 'cause yeah.
Yep, okay. So they're now blue. So blue just means it's a formula. When it's in parentheses,
Can you
it's,
make it a little bigger? This
Yep.
is why I sit in the seat.
so when it's in parentheses, it's a negative. It's a minus. But blue just means it was derived from a formula. So we're just going to walk through it like we do each meeting. Line 6, the red line shows our beginning balances at the beginning of this fiscal year, which we're just about to end at the end of June. And this list right here of lines 9 through 16 show all of the appropriations that this committee has done in this fiscal year so far. So quarters 1 through 3 are all listed here. And our orange line is our available balances before the pending fourth quarter projects. The yellow line shows our available balances if the committee votes to fund all 3 projects. So this would be the number, the yellow line would be the number that we would close out this year with. $1 in the open space and recreation account, $95,000, $95,501 in historic preservation, $1 in affordable housing, $96,719 in undesignated, no dollars in reserve, at a subtotal of $192,222.
Great.
And then just for fun, I added in what's coming down the pike, which is the fiscal 2026 budget. This committee voted, they moved their budget, your budget, forward to the city council back in February. But city council, it will be voted on with the overall city budget, which is scheduled for vote June 18th, in 6 days. So those numbers are not yet set in stone, but this committee recommended those moving forward. So this committee recommended moving 110,000 into open space budgeting, 110,000 for open space, 110,000 for historic preservation, 200,000 for affordable housing, and then 371 and 800 in the reserve. The reserve again functions as our pot of money that can be used for any project, any of those previous categories. And then we have all of the projects that we managed to close out this year, which are the lines 57 through 61. And in the blue, under subtotal project closeout funds, you'll see the summation of the funds that were returned, will be returned and available for usage this upcoming fiscal year.
Love it. I just want to pause there for a moment and just say thank you again for all your work on that. I mean, because that's $100,000 that I feel like has been just sitting unused, unable to be accessed. And in next month, we'll be able to begin using that to fund community projects. So thank you.
And then line 67 is the one fiscal 26 project that this committee is already committed to. Just for the public, the committee committed to funding the Home City affordable housing at 11 Ferry Street back in, I believe, 2020. It was either in 2023 or 2024. It was definitely in fiscal year 24. And they set aside 3 years of appropriations. And this is our final year of appropriations to that project. And so those 200,000 will go along with the first quarter of the fiscal 26 appropriations. So the blue line is our key line here, which is the minimum available balance on July 1. If this committee chooses to fund, the way I decided to just showcase these numbers tonight, that is if the committee decides to fund all fourth quarter projects in full. We would start at next meeting of July 17th with the minimum of just shy of $900,000 in our accounts.
Does that does not include the carryover from this fiscal year? In other words,
It does. It includes the yellow line.
it does.
Yes.
But our budget was 791.
Yep, our budget is 791, and then we're spending 200,000 immediately on Ferry Street,
Ah, that's where I.
gaining 108. But note that I use the word minimum here, as this committee is aware. We budget a certain amount; those funds are immediately available for appropriation. But there has been money when we went through the finances at an earlier point in this fiscal year. We noted that there's the phase 2 and 3 of the state matching funds. We don't budget for those. They kind of appear in our accounts once we've finished out a fiscal year. So it's essentially we under budget so that we don't end up spending beyond. So some money from fiscal 25 will likely join that blue line that was not budgeted for in fiscal
Oh, I
25.
see, because the phase 2 and phase 3 appropriations from the state have not come through yet.
Right.
For this fiscal year.
Yeah.
They have not come through. They have not yet been determined for fiscal 26.
Okay.
But we know what they're coming for fiscal 25.
All right.
Those numbers will hopefully be clear if the city's finance department is able to get me clear numbers by the July 17th meeting. We should have those numbers reflected then. If not, they'll be reflected by the August meeting. There's a lot that has to happen at the end of the fiscal year. And then lastly, we like to look ahead as a committee. So these are 2 projects that are on our radar as likely coming in fiscal 26 and first quarter fiscal 26. Last meeting, we heard a pre-application letter from the Nashwanik Pond retaining wall. We plan to ask for $78,020 to match their 20, almost 30,000 from their own Nashwanik Pond Steering Committee fundraising. And then I received this word from committee member Riss today. I don't know if this should have gone on the sheet yet, but
I'm glad you put it there because I'm hoping that Allison will put in. We have to have, in order to get the clock and the power fixed, we have to have an architect give us that hope. And this is for design and architectural fees. That hopefully application will be in by July 3rd. I asked Allison. We won't get the RFP out. We only have Mike Owens is a little busy. He can't do 5 jobs at once. So if the RFP gets out, even if this is approved at 75 and we only needed 50, then that money can come back to the committee or whatever. That's the kind of thing I'm expecting because I don't know when the RFP will go out to find the architect. But that's where we're at with that. And I'm glad you put it down so we have an idea. I make note of the fact, just for information purposes, that Hadley, because it's a historic, their town, their church has a steeple was about to fall. They took $350,000 CPA money to fix it. So good precedent.
All right.
For historic purposes.
I just want to say, you go back up again, to where you were. Yeah, I want to say thank you for putting future projects out there. These aren't approved and they might not be, but I think it's important for us as a committee to be able to see what else might be coming down the pike. I also want to put this out to everybody online. If you're watching this recording, let us know as soon as you can. Even if you're not quite ready to apply yet, the sooner we have an idea of what might be being asked for, the more we can keep that in mind as we do our appropriation throughout the year. So thank you for that. All right. Anything else on that?
Nope.
Questions on open balances? All right, we have nothing new business, but we have three items in continued business. The first is the Parks Historic Designation. John, you're up.
Yeah, as presented a couple months ago, nothing's changed on this application regarding this project. Pioneer Valley Planning Commission will be ready to move on this once funding's in place. The only thing I can do is maybe put a shameless plug in for our 100th anniversary of Daly Field is coming up on 12 to 5 on the 21st of June. So Daly Field is turning 100 technically in 2 days, but the celebration will be the 21st, so we didn't clash with cultural chaos that's this weekend. So
Cool. And the 14,500, there's a breakdown between the stone, just to recap, there's a breakdown between the stone house and the cemetery, the comfort station and the cemetery, correct?
yeah, so the comfort station is 11,000, or the cemetery is 11,000 because that's for National Registry, and 3,500 for the Daly Field comfort station to resubmit for the state.
John presented this a couple months ago. We had a lot of time to ask questions, but is there anybody who has additional questions on this project? Yeah.
Move that we approve the Park Historic Designation $14,500 request as submitted.
Motion is on the floor to approve $14,500.
Do a roll call vote?
We don't need to. You want to?
If everyone's here,
For
we don't
votes.
need to.
For votes? You want to do that?
I think it would be nice.
Great. Whatever. Tend to do whatever. If it's exactly. If it's helpful for you, let's do it. So go for it. You can do the roll then if you want to roll call.
Do you want
Well,
me- Okay,
because
okay,
you have the list.
Okay,
'Cause you
awesome.
go through and
All right. Kavanaugh,
aye.
Rist,
Aye.
Bruner,
Aye.
Henninger, Church,
Yes, aye.
Peak,
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Great.
Excellent.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, busy night for you, John. Item number 2, spray park.
Yes, so update on the spray park is actually on the good news side with regard to federal funding. The state, this is a 2-part process for a land water conservation fund, which is a federal grant. It has to be approved by the state first, and then the state submits it to the federal government, and the federal government portal was open and welcoming for these projects. So they were able to be submitted as presented to the federal government, and they have not heard anything negative in return based on any information. So we're hoping that that trend continues, and we should hear something regarding the funding, the grant funding, late summer, early fall, September, October is generally the time frame for that.
Questions on this project?
No questions.
All right, I just want to note, a big part of this is the water currently goes from the spray park. I forget what it's called, like an in and out system where it goes in and then it goes out and then it's gone. And a big part of this project is capturing that water and reusing it, which should really reduce the water usage in the spray park. Does that sound correct?
That is correct. We are going to save hundreds, probably 100,000 gallons of water throughout the summer by switching to this. Long overdue, so I appreciate the support for this project.
For the general public,
Yeah.
all of this recycled water is filtered.
Yes.
Yeah. So your little child's, whatever. Well, I think it's important.
Can you clarify that that's all filtered water, John?
It's all filtered water, yes.
Excellent.
It's
Good to
it
know.
goes through a cleaning process, much like a pool filter system, to purify the water before it's sent back out.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
Dan,
good.
there's, some of us adults like to play in the spray park too on occasion because it's pretty refreshing.
Awesome. I apologize. I realized for the last piece of business, the park's historic designation, I didn't ask if there was any public comment, so I apologize for that. If there is anybody that wants to say anything about that project, you're welcome to do that now, even though we already voted for it. Great. And if there's anybody that wants to say anything about the spray park, now is the time. Raise your hand. Say anything about the spray park. I don't know what everybody's here for then.
I would just add one thing
Oh,
about
yeah.
the spray park, that it's also like the city has it designated as a cooling station
Yes.
when it's like high temperature. So it's another plug for it.
Awesome.
When's it gonna open, John?
It's already open.
Spray
The
park
spray-
open, it was packed there today.
Oh, request on
I bet it
Facebook.
was.
Good. All right, anybody want to make a motion for this?
Sure, I will ask the school committee to approve the request for $264,500 as submitted by the Park and Rec Department for the spray park as submitted.
Second. Excellent. When you're ready, do a roll, just go through roll call.
Okay. Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Rist,
Yes.
Brunner.
Aye.
Henninger. Aye. Church,
Aye.
Peak,
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Great.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're well. Thank you, John. I think Spray Park, that's gonna really help our communities. Thank you.
Absolutely. Can I just give one update on something though, quick?
Please.
On the pickleball court bid came in just under our bid. So we're on budget, fully on budget for use of CPA funds for the pickleball project.
We like the word under.
It's great.
Good
Thank you.
news.
All right, skate park. We don't have to, I mean, obviously a lot of people were here last month. We don't have to recap everything that was said, but I know that the application has changed.
The amount has changed.
Huh?
The amount changed.
The amount changed, yeah. And so
Is it
basically,
official
it's officially in the application, yeah. So I don't know who wants to speak about it, but just speak to the things that I guess are new and what that looks like. I don't know, John, if you want to speak or who, someone in the room
now? It
here.
says 250. I'm confused.
That's the updated amount.
That's the updated.
Oh, it
amount.
was 225?
It was
It was
175.
175 and now
Okay.
it's 250.
So Dan is well behind the times.
That's okay.
You want to, maybe John
I would-
first?
I'm gonna
John, you want to go first?
No, well, yeah, I will speak to this. I've been working with the skate park committee. Eddie and Jeff have been working hard on putting this information together, and we're working collaboratively for efforts to put in for the park grant. So I just want to thank them for their time and effort. When you see a group that has an interest in a project and the amount of hours that they're putting in to see this project through has been very important for me, especially because it is a lot of work on these types of things. So with that being said, I'll turn it over to Jeff or Eddie for the lead the discussion.
You want me to speak? If you want to, do you want to? I mean,
And again, you don't have to recap everything you said last time, but just so people know, like, okay, the amount changed from last time. This is
So
we're looking at-
originally we came here to get 175,000. We found out the day of the meeting that park grant got cut from 500 to 425. We had a discussion with CPA Commission regarding increasing the amount to 250. And then we're gonna fundraise 75,000. But if we fundraise over 75,000, we would give back the money to the CPA.
All right. I think the only thing I would add on behalf of the people in the room and,
Well, yeah, we're gonna have public,
okay, great.
yeah,
And
we're
then,
definitely gonna have public speak.
as John mentioned, I think he left the, oh no, he's still here. The target is using this vote to leverage the state grant, which is submitted on July 8th. And so that's another 425,000 that would be applied for by the Parks Department. And so we're really hopeful that that would be awarded in November approximately, and we're optimistic. And then just for clarity, that there's from November all the way through that July of 2026, that's when the final design would occur. And there would be construction drawings prepared, and then it would go out to bid around July of 2026. And then it would go into construction sort of the fall of 2026 with a hopeful opening of spring of 2027. So that's if everything goes as planned, that's the timeline. I just want to make sure people know it doesn't instantaneously create a park. There's a design period. So we've been really grateful to be working with John. It's a good collaboration, as he said, and that's really great.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Comments? Yeah.
After what Donald said at the last meeting, I'm so very much in favor of this park now and the increase. We have to do this. I know the committee, I'm sure, will be unanimous with this. But keeping the kids off the roads, there's reports, absolutely imperative. Traffic is not getting any less. So I just wanted to say that you were moving and I appreciate it.
This is me yesterday, so it's really kind of a hard time right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just throw out there, that I just think this project, I feel, has been in the works in some iteration since I first ran for office. And so I'm really pleased to see it come to this point. And I'm really inspired, I guess I could even say, by just the perseverance and the dedication of the folks who work to make this happen. So excited to move forward.
Awesome. Thank you. The only thing I want to add to that, just, because the amount that the request is increased, I just want to reiterate what you sort of highlight what you said about there's still $75,000 that this group is going to raise, which is not nothing. Like there's been so much hard work for years leading up to this, and it's going to continue. So I think that to me, yeah, I've been on the committee a long time. You're talking about when you first ran for office. Yeah, it's been this project's been in the works for a long, long time, and so I just think it's impressive the dedication that this group has had. Is there anybody in the public who would like to speak about this now? Now's the time. You're speaking even just with your presence. If you're here for this, like to support the skate park, just raise your hand, just so we have a sense. Great. So that's helpful to know that if you're here against the skate park, you can raise your hand. Anyone? Don't be scared. So even just with your presence, you're saying something. So thank you for coming. But is there anybody who wants to say anything publicly? Because you're certainly welcome. Yeah, go for it.
I'll say something because I wrote something.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Will you state your name?
Yes, Amy Winnie. I'm a resident of Easthampton, 25 years, it's been a long time. And it's a little dark in here. So,
Go in the light.
can I go in the light?
Go in the window.
Sorry, I will stand. I just wanted to share what a skate park would mean to my family. I'm a mom. I've got two kids, 16 and 10. And it's kind of funny. Last night I was looking through my phone for an old picture, and it came up a picture of the first meeting that I started to attend for the skate park. It was July 2022 at Nonotuck Park. So it's been 3 years that I've been coming to these meetings, and a lot has changed in 3 years. I see that things are moving forward. My kids were 3 years younger, 13 and 7, and a lot has changed for them and what they're interested in. But what hasn't changed is that it's still a great place to have, skate park would be a great place for kids. My kids are always out riding their bikes, skateboarding, doing all sorts of stuff. So it'd be great for kids in our community to have a place to go. So Easthampton has had a great event in town called Food Truck Fridays. I bring my family along with me. They don't want to hang out with me. They literally go for food and to meet up with their friends. 1 year, my son came along. It's hard to get him to come, but he went and got his burger, had his burger, got a Valley bike, had his backpack, had a skateboard, and he went all the way to Northampton so that he could meet up with his friends and skate. And I was like, oh, got him here, but now he's got to go because he couldn't skate. So it would just be nice for him to maybe 1 year join, because there would be a skate park right there while we had our. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Say anything? Yeah, go for it.
Quick word, Donor Helper McManus, District 2. I own and operate the Easthampton Skate Club, the indoor skate park in Eastworks. Been doing it for a little over a year and a half now, and I missed the last meeting. I tuned in over Zoom, but I wasn't here in person. I just want to express extreme gratitude to the CPA. I was really excited to see that your support was so, strong last month. And I am extremely proud of all the work that all the committee members have done. I've been involved for 5 years since I've been there or living here, but I know that they've been working even longer, and I know that there was people before them working. So it's long overdue, specifically for the McDonald's to finally see this come back to where it should be. And we're all very, very excited and really, really thankful for all of your enthusiasm for this.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? And I know a lot of you spoke last time, so thank you for expressing if you were here at the last meeting. All right.
Want a motion?
Sure.
I move that the committee approve $250,000 for a new skate park as requested.
Second.
All right. Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Rist,
Aye.
Brunner,
Aye.
Henninger, Church,
Yes.
Peak,
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye. There you go. Yeah.
Want the committee and John should know, but I did a little math. We just approved $529,000 for the Parks Department and recreation for the city. I think that's pretty great.
It
You should let the park commission know.
And just while I have you here, John, typically the committee is moving to 3-year project funding agreements with reporting requirements every 6 months. Is that appropriate for all 3 of these projects? Do you need a longer timeline for any of them? Do you need a different reporting requirement for any of them?
Nope, that all works.
Okay.
Just so everybody in the room knows, this is not actually the final step in getting this approved. What happens now, so the authority of this committee is to make recommendations to the city council. So the next step is it goes to city council. I've been on the committee 9 years, and only once has that ever been an issue. Usually they're approved, like they trust what we're doing and they approve it. That being said, if you care about this project, which I know you all do, I would encourage you to go to that meeting as well. And we'll put out the word. When would that be? Do we know? Do we know when that?
They come in July, so the second, whenever Tom does a finance meeting after the July meeting.
Right.
Yeah, we introduced in our July meeting and probably the second week in July, but I would need to, we don't have a second July meeting, so we have it'll be sometime in the final 3 weeks of July.
All right.
Certainly on a Wednesday, I can say.
Right. So the first hearing of these appropriations will be July 9th, which no one needs to attend because that's just the introduction to the council. Then they'll send it to finance committee, which will likely be the 3rd or the 4th Wednesday.
Or the second, I mean.
Well, it's the second Wednesday is the full council.
Oh, well, then the 3rd or the 4th, yes.
Okay, so the 3rd or the 4th Wednesday in July, but that will be publicly posted. And then I believe we can expect to vote at the full council on August 6th. So that's a date to mark your calendar for.
August 6th.
August 6th, yep. And it's also helpful if someone from the skate park committee comes to finance. Finance does like to see that.
And John, you need to be there. Of course.
Excuse me,
I'll be there.
It's not scheduled yet, but
Okay.
it'll be sometime in mid-July.
Okay.
If you could just show up every night. Just in case.
It'll be in this room, so if you
That'd be
show
great.
up every day at 5:30 in this room, you'll get it eventually.
Usually Jeff Bag does all of our scheduling, so.
Perfect.
It was posted.
All right. Thank you all for the skate park. Thank you for all your dedication and all your hard work on that for many years.
Can I say thank you to all of you for this?
You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you. That's all we got. Man, we were efficient tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody want to make a motion? All right, before we do, is there anybody who wants to say anything else before we? No. Anybody want to make a motion?
Move adjourn.
Great. All in favor? Aye. Excellent.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.